If you don't have faith and trust in God, you will not make the most out of your Christian journey. Hello, welcome to Learning from Her podcast with Heaven Emmanuel. I am super excited to be recording this session. I believe that every woman has a story to tell, and in every story are lessons and morals to be learned. Here we learn from biblical women, from contemporary women, women who have left extraordinary marks in the sands of time. So we're going to be running a series on the wives of the patriarchs. So, and then the patriarchs we have Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And on today's episode, which is more like the debut episode, we are going to be learning from an amazing woman. Her name is Sarah. We're going to be deriving lessons from her life. We're going to be seeing what God has to teach us from her life. Now, the account of Sarah is found in the book of Genesis chapter 12, starting from verse 1. For the very first time, we saw God called Abraham out of his place, out of his hometown, and he told him to go to a place where he does not know and to a place that he is going to show him. And then we saw Abraham leaving. So the first lesson we derive from the life of this woman called Sarah is that she's a woman of faith, because it takes faith to actually support your husband's move. Your husband just wakes up one morning and then he's like, oh, we are leaving our comforts, we are leaving our relatives, the place where we once called a home. Now, Sarah had an option. She could have said, oh, I'm not going to go with you. I'm not following you. But she believed in her husband's faith. That also makes her a woman of faith. And then she went with him. In our Christian journey, we mustn't get the whole full picture before we take a move. We mustn't see the end before we take a move. If you don't have faith and trust in God, you will not make the most out of your Christian journey. So you just have to have trust that he who called is faithful. He who saith his thing is faithful. And because he has said it, I can bank on his words. I can be rest assured that this road is not going to lead me to a dead end, but we're going to get to an actual destination. It's not in all times or in all cases where God says, I will bless you, and then the very next day we are seeing the blessings. Between the time when a promise is made and to its manifestation is a waiting period. Between the time when David was anointed to be king and to the point where he actually ascended the throne, theologians say there was a period of 7 years. And as Christians, we need to understand that the Bible said those who through faith and patience obtained the promise. We need to also apply patience. You cannot serve God well in a haste. If you want things quick, you want quick results, you want to see manifestations quickly, which of course they are okay. They are ordinate desires. They are not out of place to actually want that. But the point here is that if it doesn't happen that way, have patience. Now, in our lives as women, there are one or two areas where we could have been waiting for God. Some in childbirth, some in marriage, some even getting a job. In one area or the other, where you need God's intervention and it may seem like it's delayed. So here is a lesson from the life of this woman that yes, those has delayed, it later came to pass. So the Bible said in Habakkuk is that though the vision may tarry, wait for it because it will surely come to pass. We should also understand that God's timing is different from human timing, and we should just find rests that I am in God's calendar, I am in God's schedule, that it will happen. And then it's also important that I say this. The reason why God delays is not because he is wicked, he is our Father. And there is no father that would derive pleasure in seeing his children weep or cry or just in sorrowful state. The reason why God causes delay or why there is delay in any form is for him to be glorified. We remember in the case of Lazarus, when the sisters of Lazarus sent for Jesus, they said, please come to us. Our brother is sick. Until they now sent a message that, okay, now, at this point now, Lazarus is dead. He now said, oh, this death is unto the glorification of God. There are some miracles and testimonies that they are not just testimony. They are statements that last even for generation. It outlives the testifier. A point came, she gave into her humanity and she sought a shorter route. It was like this promise of God is not forthcoming. It's taking time. That's where Hagar came into the picture. And then later we see that a lot of troubles and issues came up through that single decision. In fact, the world today has not recovered from that single decision that Sarah made. But in this case, God has already promised them that they were going to have their own child. At any point a conversation came up with Abraham, he always reinstated that they were going to have a child of their own. So relating it to our day to day, there are many times when God has made a promise and it's not forthcoming. And then we give into our humanity. We seek shorter routes. We want to cut corners. We want to see if we could help and assist God to bring to pass the promise that He Himself has made. And most times it leads to a dead end. Most times it comes with daring consequences that impact our life negatively in great ways. It could be in choosing a life partner, and then the time comes where it's like, I'm not getting a godly man, a man who aligns with my values, a man who is a child of God, and then you want to lower your standards just so that you are going to get married. It always ends in premium tears. Or a woman, just like in the case of Sarah, who is waiting on God for the fruit of the womb and is not forthcoming. You've stayed 5 years, you've stayed 10 years, and then they are telling you there are options or some things you know that they are anti-God and you are considering it. It doesn't go well. The next lesson we derive from the life of Sarah is God turned her laughter of doubt into laughter of joy. Now we remember that from Genesis 18, we saw that there were some angels that came to visit Abraham in the form of men. And after they visited, Abraham was very hospitable to them. And they told Abraham that your wife, Sarah, is going to give birth to a child by this time next year, according to the time of life. And Sarah, who was probably in her own apartment or close by, she overheard the conversation and she laughed. Now, coming to chapter 21, we see God fulfill that promise, that long awaited promise. We see her saying that God has made her to laugh, and all that hear this mighty testimony will laugh with her. And God is still in the business of turning our doubts, of turning our uncertainties, our fears to testimonies, to joy, to manifestations. And this is God encouraging you that your morning is coming, your joy is coming. The last lesson that we derive from the life of this woman is that she was not sentimental with her relationship. A time came where she caught Hagar and her son Ishmael, who was 14 years at the time of the birth of Isaac, mocking the little baby. And she just knew within her that no, these people staying around is not healthy for me. It's not going to be healthy to my child. Yeah, and she told her husband, let's send these people away. It wasn't a very comfortable decision for Abraham to do, but he knew that this is the right thing to do. So you need to protect your space and your life from strength drainers, dream killers. It is your responsibility to protect your vision, protect your testimony, protect your dream, protect your miracles, protect them in the place of prayers, protect them strategically, protect them with wisdom. To end this point, some separations are actually very, very necessary for destiny preservation. Like in the case of Jonah, imagine that those men in the boat didn't throw Jonah out of the boat eventually. All of them would have gone for it. Now, I believe that we have been blessed from this episode, I believe that the life of Sarah has taught us one or two lessons. It has taught me, it has impacted my own life. And if this message has blessed you, please share it with another woman, share it with your friends, with your colleagues, and do well to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And see you sometime next week. I remain your host, Heaven Emmanuel. Bye bye.